Greetings everyone, welcome to Chess Advance. This game was played in Clutch Champions. With the white pieces, we have the current reigning world champion facing off against Fabiano Caruana, world number 3. And this is the second match of the 2-round robin that's happening in a single day. Gukesh in the first match was able to secure a win against Fabiano Caruana. Let's see what he does now with the white pieces. So here Gukesh goes for d4. We have knight to f6, g3, g6 and just bishop to g2. This is the Tartak over attack. And now just going for bishop to g7. We have knight to f3 immediately, castles and d6, and now just going for c4, taking more space in the center. c6 now, and here just knight to c3, bishop to f5, developing that bishop, and here this in this position just knight to e1, preparing a lot of things. First of all, you are controlling the center somewhere along the line. You're going to do that, but here first you want to remaneuver the knight to a better square. Here e5 now, and now just going for d5, just taking more space. C captures, and a5 was played in this position. Although you could have also gone for a move like bishop to d7, just moving the bishop back, because bishop seems a little bit misplaced there. And now after bishop to d7, you play knight to d3, a5 and a4, and after knight to a6, now you just go for even e4, knight to e8, b3 now, and knight to e8 was played with the simple idea of pushing f5, and here after f5 you play bishop to d2, but you have even f4 in this position, and that's looking very scary. f3 is going to have to be played, and after this knight to c5 you just trade it, and after this rook to f2 the game goes on. You play b6 next, you can play rook to f7, queen to f6 is also an idea. There are many moves in this position you can make, but after c caps on d5, here a5 was played by Fabi, and now just comes e4, pushing the bishop back, and that's why it was important very much to be able to just push it back. But hey, bishop to g4 attacking the queen, f3 now, and here bishop to d7, and you can see we have made similar moves as compared to all the lines I've showed you. But here just knight to a6, knight to d3, b6 now, and here b3. That c5 outpost is definitely a beautiful outpost for that knight, and knight is definitely jumping there. Knight to c5, and now just comes queen to e2, and we have bishop to c8, bishop to b5 now, not allowing the bishop to take a hold of this diagonal, because it's going to be very, very bad. Your knight is going to be pinned, and you won't have any other chances, and you don't have the luxury of playing a4 because this knight captures, and you don't want that to happen. But Fabi goes for bishop to a6 nonetheless, and here in this position, first knight caps on c5, b captures. The thing that Gukesh wanted to avoid all along, he didn't want to trade, because you're just playing into Fabi's hands. This is definitely his preparation, but you don't want to trade that. But you are now forced your hand, and here just a4. But now knight to e8 in this position, the knight is going to be jumping there, and this is pinned. You're going to have to do something about it. First bishop to d2, now you cannot go for it because hey, bishop captures, and then that is going to be pinned, so you have to be careful. Queen to b6 now just taking away that square. Now this is a possibility. Also rook can join the party, and here rook f to c1, crucial move and only move. Knight to c7, and now bishop to f1, only move in this position to try and hold this. And here you could go for this rook f to b8 line, and it's going to be a really interesting, because here after queen to e1, targeting that pawn and saying that you want to take that, well, just go ahead. Knight captures, after a captures, bishop captures, you play bishop captures on a5 first, queen moves, now you capture this, queen captures, and next bishop to c7 is coming, and I'm most likely going to win your d6 pawn. I'll have a pass pawn on d5, and my position should be really great. But obviously none of this occurred, but this was something that they would have calculated definitely. But after bishop to f1, h5 was played, and now just comes h4 and even f5, playing on both sides of the board. But your pieces are a bit crammed. If you're not able to go for a sustainable attack, those pieces are going to be left out of the game. Here e caps on f5 was played immediately by Gukesh, and Gukesh timeouts are not in Gukesh's favor. He is down to 2 minutes while Fabi has well over 5 minutes. Here g caps on f5, bishop to g5 now, getting the bishop to the right square, and here we have rook a to e8. You could have also gone for a move like rook to f7 and double up, or try to double up. Rook to b1, you play rook to b8, and after this f4 you play knight captures, a captures, bishop captures, and play this queen captures on h5, just going all in towards that attack towards the black king. And after bishop captures on f1, king captures queen to b7, just keeping an eye on everything and also attacking the pawn. You play rook to d1, defend it, and the game goes on with black being a lot better, because you have to understand you're just controlling a lot of these things and your pawn structure has been shattered. You don't have that much of a counterplay, and I think Fabi would have been able to convert this, but still it's very hard to tell. But after this, here rook a to e8 was played, and now just comes to rook to a2. Rook to a2 is a crucial move in all of these lines, because somewhere along the line e4 is going to be an idea. Your rook will be hit. You have to be careful to not allow that, and in this position here, f4. F4 is a move. I think once Gukesh would have seen this move, there would have been some relief into his side, because he's now down to 1 minute, and well, Fabi has over 3 minutes. G captures on f4, e captures, and queen to c4 now. Queen to c4 is a very simple move, with the idea that you want to get the rook to g2 to harass the black king. You could have also gone for a move like queen to c2, because you can then access the g6 square and then you can harass the black king. But here, after king to h8, now you play rook to g2 immediately by Gukesh, and you could go for this knight caps on b5 now. And after a captures, play bishop to c8, just remaneuver the bishop, and only after king to h1, a prophylactic move, you play rook to e3, a very nice rook lift, rook to e2 now. And here, after rook caps on f3, you play rook to e7. So the counterplay is basically your rook is inside my position while my rook is inside yours. My bishop is already there. Somewhere along the line, maybe I can have some, but as long as I'm utilizing this entire file, it's going to be very, very difficult. But after rook to g2, here rook to f5 was played, and now what do you do in this? Well, unfortunately, now that was the last chance for Fabiano to be able to get back into the game. Rook to f5 is not at all a good move, and now Gukesh is down to 5 seconds on the clock. Will he be able to find the best move in this position? And he does. He goes for bishop to d3, occupying this entire thing, pushing the rook back, also allowing the rook to capture this. But if you capture that, your entire position would fall apart. Fabi had 3 minutes on the clock. He could have calculated everything and understood what was going on, but he preemptively chooses to go for rook captures on d5, and now the game is completely lost, because there is only one move in this position which completely wins the game. I'm going to ask you to pause the video, try and find out the only winning move for Gukesh, which he has to find out with roughly 2 seconds on the clock. So have at it. So congratulations to everyone who's able to find this move. The move is bishop to f6, sacrificing an entire piece. Here, if you capture this, queen captures on f4, and now there is no defense against the mate. You're gonna go down in material. If you go for bishop to g7, then just comes queen to f7. I'm threatening checkmate. You have to defend, and king to h1, just doubling up here. And if you try to go knight to e6, bishop to c4 even, and after rook to f8, you play queen captures on e6, and now it's just a matter of time. When your entire position collapses, there is not much you can do. But something even better happened here. After rook caps on d5, king to h1 was played directly by Gukesh, and now he's threatening to double up. A bishop to b7, rook c to g1, and now just knight captures on b5 finally, but it's a bit too late. In this position, Gukesh, for 2 seconds on the clock, played bishop to f6, and now the thing is that you cannot capture, but Fabi did capture, and it's a mate in 5. Bishop captures on f6, we have queen captures on f4, bishop to g5, rook captures on g5, queen to d8, but now just comes to rook to g8, even sacrificing the rook, and you cannot capture because this is going to be checkmate. And here Fabiano Caruana, world number 3, resigned the game, and Gukesh got this spectacular victory in 36 moves. Spectacular fighting prowess by both of these players. I mean, really an amazing powerful attacking game by both of these players. Results at the end of the day are, I mean, obviously are important, but it's not that important as much as the amazing gameplay that these two create. I mean, creating a powerful game like this, the entire gameplay was shifted towards the queen side, then you shifted towards the center, and then, I mean, entirely the game ended towards the king side, and that ended in black's checkmate. Really a beautiful game, and this is what happens when two powerful people collide. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll be coming back with some of these amazing games, so stay tuned to the channel, stay updated, and I'll be seeing you guys very soon. Thank you very much for watching.